Ever walk into a room completely forgetting why you went in there? Or like you're scrambling for your keys and they're literally right there in plain sight.
Happens to the best of us.
Our brains, right? Full of these weird quirks, and we're diving into a big one today. Inattentional blindness. It's like our attention has a blind spot and we all experience it.
And this isn't about, needing glasses. It's about how our brains try to make sense of this constant flood of information.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we asked you to check out some materials about this phenomenon. Some articles, a video all about how we miss things, even when they're right in front of us.
And some pretty wild examples, too.
Oh, yeah. Remember that video with the basketball players? You're watching, counting passes, and then
The gorilla.
the gorilla. A whole gorilla just saunters across the court, and you might not even notice.
It's crazy how many people miss it. Almost half. Their brains are so busy focusing on the task, on counting those passes.
That's the thing that gets me. It's like our brains just decide, nope, not important, and completely filter it out.
Your brain's working hard to be efficient, focusing on what it thinks is relevant at that moment. In that case, the gorilla was just collateral damage.
Wild. And it's not just gorillas, right? This happens all the time in everyday life.
Oh, absolutely. Think about being at a busy party, deep in conversation. You might completely miss someone try to get your attention. Or a waiter squeezing by with a tray full of drinks.
Because your brain's decided those things aren't the priority. It's too busy focusing on the conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've established our brains are playing tricks on us, but it gets even weirder with this thing called change blindness.
Ah, yes. Change blindness. That's when we miss changes in things that are already there. Not just new things appearing, but things actually changing.
So, like, if we're talking and someone snuck in and swapped out your coffee mug for a completely different one,
You might not even register the difference, especially if you were really engrossed in the conversation.
our brains really do love to fill in the blanks, don't they? Using our expectations and what we've seen before.
It's all about creating a seamless experience,
Yeah.
even if it means skipping over a few details.
And sometimes those details matter. This is seriously messing with my mind. Like, our brains are building this whole picture, but they're leaving out important stuff.
It's like that, yeah. And the thing is, this isn't just, some fun brain teaser. This stuff has real-life implications.
Okay, yeah, get to the real world stuff. Like, how does this actually affect us?
Well, imagine you're driving. Okay, so you're focused on the road, the car's in front of you.
Right, trying to stay safe.
But because you're so zeroed in on that, you might totally miss that pedestrian stepping off the curb.
Oh, wow. See, this is what I mean. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it can be. And it's a big deal for things like, eyewitness testimony, in court cases.
Yeah.
Because our memories, they're not as reliable as we like to think.
You mean like I could swear something happened a certain way, but my brain's actually playing tricks on me?
Basically. And those memories,
Mm-hmm.
they can be influenced by, well, a lot of things. Our biases, what we were expecting to see, even this inattentional blindness.
Hold on. So someone could witness a crime and actually genuinely believe they saw something.
That didn't happen. It's more common than you'd think. Like, a witness might be totally convinced they saw a specific detail, like, say, a tattoo on the suspect's arm. But their attention was actually focused somewhere else entirely.
So their brain just fills in the blanks.
Exactly. With what it expects to see. It's wild.
This is heavy stuff. We're not just talking about missing a gorilla in a video anymore. This is like people's lives.
Yeah, you got it. And it even seeps into our everyday relationships. Those little arguments, misunderstandings, inattentional blindness could be playing a role.
Wait, really?
Absolutely. Think about it. You and a friend are arguing about something that happened. You both swear you're right.
Happens all the time.
But what if you were both focused on different things during that event? Your brains both grabbed onto different details.
Because our attention was like literally in two different places.
Exactly. And then we walk around assuming the other person is being difficult or, I don't know, not remembering things correctly. When really, it's just our brains doing their thing.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little freaked out by all this. Is there anything we can do about it? Or are we just stuck with these flawed brains?
Well, we can't, rewire our brains entirely, but we're not totally powerless here.
Give me some hope here. Like, what can we actually do to be more aware? So we've got these brains that are, like, working against us, trying to simplify things, but ending up making us miss stuff.
In a way, yeah. But it's not like we're completely helpless. There are definitely things we can do to be more present, more aware.
Okay, because I'm ready to fight back against these tricksy brains of ours. Spill the secrets.
Well, first off, Mindfulness. It sounds simple, but it really works. Like, if you're driving, put the phone away. If you're trying to have a really important conversation, find a quiet spot. Minimize those distractions, you know?
So we can actually focus on what's in front of us instead of having our attention pulled in a million different directions.
Exactly. But that's not always possible, right? We don't live in a bubble.
Yeah.
So out in the real world, try to expect the unexpected.
To expect the unexpected. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, because our brains like to filter things out, right? They're looking
Okay.
for the most important stuff. But if we go in knowing that something unexpected could happen, we're kind of priming our brains to be more open to it.
So, like, instead of just going through the motions, be a little more alert, a little more, I don't know, curious about what's going on around me.
Exactly. Use your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? And pay attention to those small details, the things you might normally just gloss over, like someone's facial expressions changing or their tone of voice shifting, little things.
We more present.
Yes. And remember how we were talking about biases? How we often see what we expect to see?
Yeah, that whole thing was kind of a mind bender.
Well, here's the thing. We can challenge those assumptions. Go into situations open to different perspectives. Because if you go in expecting a certain outcome, you're more likely to miss the things that don't fit that narrative.
So, to recap, be more mindful, be more open to surprises, and be willing to challenge our own biases.
You got it. It's like anything else. The more you practice paying attention, the better you get at it.
It's kind of empowering, actually, to realize that we have more control over our perception than we thought.
It really is.
Yeah.
And as you start paying more attention, you might be surprised by what you've been missing all along.
Yeah.
All those little details can add up to something really amazing.
So listeners, we've got a challenge for you. Today, take a moment to really see what's around you. You might be amazed by what you discover. And hey, if you spot a gorilla, let us know.